But now, saints, the last 4 verses of chapter 16, we're changing. Because in 16:17, that ended with, it is done. That concerning the bowls of wrath upon those, it's done. And here's another thing that so few people understand. They all get it so confused. Look at Revelation 16:18. And right after it says that, and there were flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder, and there was a great earthquake, such as there had not been since man came to be upon the earth. So great an earthquake was it, and so mighty. What's it talking about here? Because a lot of people try to tell you those on the broad road to destruction, they really think they had these unique destructions in the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, the 7 bowls of wrath. But we only saw that one thing happened. An asteroid hit and started day 1, hour 1 of the tribulation. But now they'll tell you, oh no, look at this. After the 7th bowl, but it says it's done. But now, saints, from these last 4 verses of chapter 16 and 17 and 18, we go to Babylon and the fall of Babylon. And like we said, and you're going to see so clearly, don't let them deceive you. You're going to see so clearly that Babylon falls at the beginning of the tribulation. It's day 1, hour 1. But they think, those on the broad road to destruction, that they're having now, after the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, the 7 bowls of wrath, now hell breaks out upon earth like you've never seen. But what we're doing, where it said in verse 17, it is done, that was the end of the bowls of wrath. We're now going to Babylon and the fall of Babylon. And the first thing you read, see, men put the chapters and the verses so that they could break these up and find things easier and share things and study things easier. But this is changing right here. And there were flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder, and there was a great earthquake, such as there had not been since man came to be upon the earth. There is going to be an earthquake, it's describing here. But you're going to see, saints, subscribe, follow these things. I want you to see these things. We're going to now go from right here in verse 18 through chapter 17 and 18 to the fall of Babylon. And you're going to see that so clearly. And if you follow this now through chapter 17 and 18, you're going to see clearly that this is happening at the beginning of the tribulation. From verse 18 in chapter 16 through chapter 17 and 18. It's the beginning of the tribulation. And it says there, and there was a great earthquake, such as there had not been since man came to be upon the earth. So great an earthquake was it, and so mighty. So you're going to have this tremendous, unimaginable earthquake, the biggest earthquake since man has been ruling upon the earth. And listen what it says here, saints. And there, and the great city was split into 3 pieces, and the cities of the nation fell. Remember, we've seen there's only 2 great cities in the book of Revelation, Jerusalem and Babylon. And as you're going to see, and as we go on, this is clearly Babylon it's talking about. So there's this giant earthquake there, bigger than any since man's been upon the earth. And the great city, Babylon, was split into 3 pieces. And the cities of the nations fell. And Babylon, see right here, and Babylon the Great was remembered before God to give her the cup of the wine of his fierce wrath. And listen here, saints, those on the broad road to destruction, they got some weird things for you here. But we don't. We entered the small gate. We're on the narrow road. And listen what verse 20 says. And every island fled away, and the mountains were no longer found. And huge hailstones, about 100 pounds each, came down from heaven upon men, and men blasphemed God. Because the plague of the hail, and because of the plague, it was extremely severe. Now here's something you got to understand, saints. You're going to see this. This is the beginning of the tribulation, because now we're going into the fall of Babylon. And you're going to see that very clearly. Don't think I'm just making something up here. I'm going to show you this so clearly. But look at this where it says, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. Those on the broad road to destruction, because most of them think that the book of Revelation starts at the beginning and just works to the tribulation to the end, they want to tell you this happened twice. That twice every island and every mountain were gone. Because look what we read in Revelation 6. Let's start in verse 12, because this is the sixth seal. Remember we said, saints, the seals cover the church age and the conditions upon the church age, with man ruling and with him causing wars and with there being famines and with there still being death. And we said that the sixth seal covered the tribulation, because men can and will be saved by the hundreds of millions during the tribulation. And God wanted it clear here that people would be saved in the tribulation. And it's just like we saw in Revelation about those that come out of the tribulation that are saved in the tribulation. In Revelation 7:9, after these things I looked, and behold, a great multitude which no one could count, from every nation and all tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, and palm branches were in their hands. And then in verse 13, one of the elders, it says, and one of the elders answered, saying to John, these who are clothed in the white robes, this multitude that nobody can count, from every nation, time, tongue, and people, islands, all around the earth. The elder asked John, these that are clothed in the white, who are they, John, and where did they come from? And John said to him, my Lord, you know. And he, the elder, said to John, these are the ones who came out of the great tribulation, and they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So we see that these people, by the hundreds of millions, the Christians that go into the tribulation and get saved in the tribulation, that's them, a number from every nation, tongue, and people. And in the sixth seal, which the seals which cover the church age, the sixth seal covers the tribulation. And I looked, starting in verse 12, Revelation 6:12, and I looked when he broke the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake. See, we're going to read what we just read in chapter 16, verses 18, 19, 20, and 21. It's the sixth seal. The sixth seal describes the tribulation and those who can and will be saved in the tribulation. It's not going to be twice that upon earth every nation, every island and every mountain are gone. It can't happen twice. And so in the sixth seal, and I looked, and when he broke the sixth seal, there was a great earthquake. We just read about an earthquake, the biggest one since man came upon earth. And there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth made of hair, and the whole moon became like blood. And the stars of the sky fell to the earth. And verse 14, and the sky was split apart like a scroll when it is rolled up. Listen, saints, here. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Now, we already said, saints, in previous messages, but if you don't remember, or people who didn't see those messages, that's talking about the beginning of the tribulation. The sixth seal covers the tribulation. The seals cover the entire church age. The sixth seal covers the tribulation, because hundreds of millions of people will be saved. And that is describing there the start of the tribulation, when an asteroid hits and there's going to be a giant earthquake. That's just what it's describing here in Revelation 16. And there were flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder, and there was a great earthquake, such as there had not been since man came to be upon the earth. So great and terrible was it, and so mighty. As that asteroid hits, it'll cause a giant earthquake, because it's going to be a moderate-sized earthquake, and it's going to cause great shaking. And the great city, the city that it hits off, Babylon, and causes Babylon to fall, and the great city was split into 3 pieces. The earthquake will be so great, it will split the New York City area, Washington, D.C. area, into 3 pieces from this giant earthquake. And not that every island and mountain around the earth will be gone. Where are they going to go? It's talking about where the asteroid hits. Where the asteroid hits, all the islands around there will be gone. The mountains around there will be leveled. There'll be such a great earthquake that that area will split into 3 pieces. And Babylon the Great will fall. And it says, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. It's not talking about the world. That would be silly. That would be impossible. Because as we saw when the 2 witnesses are killed, people are giving gifts. They're making merry. Remember that the kingdom of the beast and the Antichrist are requiring people to take their mark so they can buy, sell, and trade. If every mountain and island are gone, how could that be? No, this is the beginning of the tribulation. It's being described. As that asteroid hits, it will cause these things. And as we see here going on in Revelation 16:21, and huge hailstones about 100 pounds each came down from heaven upon men, and men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, because it was extreme. And we saw here in the 6th seal, starting in verse 13, and the stars of the sky fell to the earth as a fig tree cast its unripe figs were shaken by the wind. It'll be the debris that's kicked up from the ocean and the asteroid and the coast there that will rain down in these giant hailstones, and the mountains will be leveled, the earth will quake, the islands will be gone right there. It's just off the coast of Babylon as the asteroid hits at the beginning of the tribulation. It's just that one thing. And in Revelation 6:13, and the kings of the earth and the great men, and the commanders, and the rich, and the strong, and every slave and free man hid themselves in the cave and among the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the rocks and the mountains, fall on us, and hide us from the presence of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of God. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who's able to stand? So the 6th seal covers the tribulation, and it covers the beginning of the tribulation. When that asteroid hits and causes those hailstones, that giant earthquake, the splitting of the city, the islands there are gone, not around the world, just around where the asteroid hits. The mountains there, because of the giant earthquake and the effects of the asteroid, the mountains right there will be leveled down. We see that in the 6th seal. But here, as we're coming up now to chapter 17 and 18, and the fall of Babylon, of course, it's going to start with the fall of Babylon. And that's what you see there, saints. Let's read it again. Understand that. This is the 6th seal. This is the beginning of the tribulation. This is the fall of Babylon. And as we move on from here, chapter 17 and 18 are the fall of Babylon. And you're going to see so clearly, it can only be the beginning of the tribulation. Those that tell you that the book of Revelations the tribulation starts at the beginning, and it's God punishing man, one hellish thing after another for 7 years. It's not true. It can't be true. Only that one thing has happened. We're going now into chapter 17, saints, and we've only seen one thing. An asteroid hit, and it was described in the first 4 trumpets and the first 4 bolts of wrath. They were that one thing. What else have you seen? But let's read this again. Revelation 16:18. And there were flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder. So as we see these things, let's look at real quickly here. 2 Peter, starting in 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. That's when you don't expect it. It's the beginning of the tribulation he's talking about here. He's talking about this asteroid hitting. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar. As the asteroid's coming down, it will affect the atmosphere. It'll coming down burning with fire, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat as the asteroid hits. Look at any documentary on a moderate-sized asteroid hitting and see if you ain't seeing this, and the first 4 trumpets, and the first 4 bowls of wrath. And the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be burned up. And then we said that it's hitting in an ocean. So let's read this. Luke chapter 21, Luke 21, 25 and 26. As an asteroid hits in the ocean, causes this great earthquake. The islands are gone. The mountains around there are gone. There's this intense heat. Hailstones as rocks and debris are raining down. And there will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth. Dismay amongst nations, in perplexity. Listen, saints, at the roaring of the sea and the waves. Scientists say that if an asteroid hits in the ocean, it'll cause waves a minimum of 600 feet high. They can go well over a mile high. And so these nations, they're perplexed at the roaring of the sea and the waves. Men fainting from fear and the expectation of the things which are coming. Not that the world passed away and this is the end. Men fainting from fear and the expectation of the things which are coming upon the world. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Shaken. The earth will be shaken. Going back to 1618. And there were flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder. And there was a great earthquake, such as there had not been since men came to be upon the earth. So great an earthquake was it, and so mighty. And the great city, Babylon. You've seen my messages. Go see them. It's clear. It can't be any. And as we go on in 17 and 18, you're going to see that that's the United States. And this great city that falls is going to be the New York City, Washington, D.C. area. And the great city was split into 3 parts. And the cities of the nations fell. That's what I said. That is Babylon, the United States. That country which all the world depends on for its military force, its influence, its might, its money, its stock market, its real estate. It's endless. It's the United States. And if the United States falls in 1 hour of one day, look what's going on with Russia and China and the money supply and the oil supply. And the United States always being at the center of it. If the United States falls from its power and the U.S. money supply is worthless, all it says, and the cities of the nations fell. At 9/11, when those 2 towers fell, all the world was in dismay. All the world was perplexed. All the world was standing there with their hands over their mouths. All the nations will fall from this structure, this system, this money supply that we have now. And that's what you see here. And the great city was split into 3 parts. And the cities of the nations fell. That's where the Antichrist will come in to set up his kingdom. It's going to seem godly. It's going to seem good. He's going to fix everything. If it was impossible, even the elect would be deceived. Even Christians will be thinking this is a good thing. And the cities of the nations fall, but the kingdom of the beast will rise up to bring structure back, to bring commerce back. You'll need their number to buy, sell, and trade as they try to restore order. And listen here, saints. And Babylon the Great was remembered before God to give her the cup of the wine of his fierce wrath. So many Christians are so willing to die, especially American Christians, for their country. They'll say God would never have them die for his kingdom, never have them die for heaven. They wouldn't even want to hear that God would have them give up their lives. But they'll give up their lives for a country. Right now, if we went to war with Russia, Christian after Christian, hundreds of thousands of them would be volunteering to go fight. And you know what? There's a lot of Christians in Russia, and Christians would be volunteering to go kill other Christians in the name of Babylon, in the name of a worldly country. It shouldn't be that way, saints. We got to get into this higher place. We got to rise above that. And in verse 20, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. It's not happening twice. Even if some of them wanted to tell you it's only one thing, but they mention it twice. It's the beginning of the tribulation, where the asteroid hits. The islands there are wiped out. The mountains are leveled. The earthquake splits the city into three pieces. And huge hailstones, about 100 pounds each, came down from heaven upon men, and men blasphemed God. That debris from the ocean, it'll turn it into a sulfur acidic rain that'll rain down, poison the water supplies, kill the ocean right there, as we've read in the trumpets. That will rain down with big hailstorms, and debris will be raining down. That's what it's talking about, saints. And it should be starting chapter 17 right there, because now we're going to go into chapter 17 and 18 in the fall of Babylon. This is describing our day one that Babylon falls, our day one of the tribulation. And let's get ready, saints. Let's put the kingdom of God first. Walk with God. Prepare the way of the Lord, and become the voice of one crying in the wilderness.